welcome back to another episode of Author Interviews with Jazz and Prose. I'm your host, Sai, and today we are here with the amazing, beautiful Patricia Franklin for her book, Yes, Sis, You Need Some Rest. How are you doing today, Mrs. Franklin?
I'm doing well, Sai. And as I mentioned before, it is such an honorable pleasure to be on such a queen's platform. Okay.
Thank you so
So
much. Thank
you
you.
that girl. So this is an honor.
Thank you so much. I will take my flowers. Speaking of self-help, okay, I think some women, we struggle with accepting compliments. So, saying a nice thank you instead of deflecting is a great way. So I thank you for that, Mrs. Franklin. And it's an honor to have you guys come on here to know all the amazing things that we're working on. So it's a mutual honor. Okay.
Bless you.
Yeah. So I love to start with the covers, and this is a beautiful cover. Okay, so tell us how did you come up with this cover?
I came up with this cover, funny, collaboratively with my husband, but the representation of my debut book, I wanted to foreshadow my favorite colors, which is lavender and white. And it also accentuates the colors of my business, which is called Franklin Freelance Writing Consulting. So the nuances was these are my colors, these are my prominent colors in the scheme and algorithms on my background. So why don't we just not make it more of like Patricia isms? They know
Yes.
the lavender white to be Franklin Freelance. So why not
Yeah.
have the debut book be lavender and
Yeah.
white? And it's
Yeah.
just like
That makes
eye
a lot of sense.
catching. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
It makes a lot of sense, and I feel like it goes with the theme of self-care, just
yes,
relaxing, very zen.
yes.
So I really love that. And I love the title of your book as well. And we're gonna get into that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came about starting as an author.
Funny enough, in 2020, during COVID, the pandemic, I was a stay-at-home mom and I was in graduate school. And so I was just like, you know what? I have my son here in the high chair watching TV and I'm over here on the desk. So the brevity actually came from my business, started in 2020. And from that nuance, prior to that in 2015, my sister was murdered. And she actually captivated me into actually pushing me to be the woman I am now that she unfortunately didn't get to see. But going through such a hardship and trauma, going through losing all my matriarchs in 2017, 2 years later, I needed to heal. I needed to rest, reset. And having children, getting married, life is going, waiting for a murder trial to start, back and forth with my own emotional state of mind, I lost myself and I was
Yes.
unable to pick myself up off the ground. And so my family and I were going to move to Nevada. My in-laws are out there. And I called them our surrogate village. And unfortunately, God said no. God said, not yet, or no. So with this time that I have had to heal from August of last year until now, I have fully healed with intent. And that's when I said, you know what? Holy Spirit said, what? Sis, you need some rest. And I said, okay. So I got on ChatGPT to see if it existed, and it did
Yeah.
not. And then I thought about it, a mental health guidance book for the hearts of the
Yes.
household. And that's where it stemmed from.
I love that. First of all, I'm sorry for your losses.
Thank
I
you.
know that is a lot. It can be a lot. I'm glad that you recognized the need for healing and you
Yes.
took the time to, work through those emotions, because that is
Yes.
something that a lot of people don't, deal with. They just, keep going. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then the fact that you were like, let me turn this into a book as
Hmm.
well, too, you realize that this is bigger than me. I
Yes.
could help other people because unfortunately it is something that we're all going to deal with. So I do, applaud you for that, taking the initiative to actually think about, more than you, to
Great.
help people with this as well too.
Thank
And
you.
it is a lot. Yeah, it is a lot. I know, with the court system, I just wrapped up a case and I'm like, oh my, I don't ever want to step back in a court at all. So
Yeah.
I know that process alone is a lot. So I get it. I get it. I get it. So when you were growing up, did you enjoy writing, or was this like a newfound because I have more time?
You know what, Lord, I already repented, God forgave me, but I used to fight my gifts. I used to fight.
Mm,
My grandmother actually was the core of who I was, my identity, how I flourished. And she was just like, "You're a writer, so write." And I'm like, "Grandma, like where do I start? How does this begin?" And
yeah.
so it started with poetry. It started with poetry. And that's how I was able to evoke my feelings, because growing up, I was a very timid child.
Mhm,
I was not able to say, "This is how I feel and why." I have an attitude. I didn't know how to
mhm,
say, "I had a bad day at school. I was being bullied." I didn't know how to do that. And so writing gave me that outlet. It gave me a release. And so I
mhm.
still have those writings today. I see the
Yeah.
grammatical errors. I see the growth. I feel the pain and anguish, because it's like a diary. It is like a
Yeah.
diary.
Mhm,
And so
mhm,
from there, I actually had a friend, a sister friend. I seen her publish a book. And I said, "You know what? If she can do
mhm.
it, I'm going to do it." And she had
Right.
no idea. And I was asking little questions here and there, and she didn't pick up on it. And
Uh-huh.
then God just like isolated me for a little bit, and "Sis, You Need Some Rest" was written in 6 weeks.
Wow.
It was like a hyper focus. And it
Mhm,
wasn't because I wanted to get the notoriety and I wanted to get it out. No, it's just
mhm.
was so much going on inside. And with the new time God gave me, which I've never had in my lifetime, I said, "Let me
Right.
utilize this for the greater good of others." Because we
Mhm.
all have friends and we all are going through different ways. And there's women in this book that I name by choice, and there's women in this name that I do not name. I wanted
Okay.
to protect their identities, but I feel like, okay, God, make me the face, make me the vessel. I'll be that girl to advocate. And I was obedient to him. And then that's where this beauty came from.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I when you talked about fighting and working against your talents and your gifts, that is, people do it. People do it. I think, unfortunately, there's timing. Timing is so important. I
Yes.
just feel like timing matters. Part of me, it's a struggle because part of me is like, I am where I need to be.
Yeah.
Where I am right now is between that and like discipline, like I need to do more. So I don't know. But you did it. The timing was great. And yeah, COVID did give a lot of people time to sit and think about different things and,
Yes.
ask themselves, what am I doing? Because I think
Right.
for some of us, like we realized, like and I had been a stay-at-home mom before COVID, so
Hmm.
but I mean, with COVID, I think a lot of people who have not had that experience realize that sometimes just existing, that is a full-time job. How are we balancing doing that plus working 40 plus hours?
Listen, you're not losing
Yeah,
your mind. And
yeah,
I've had it all, honey. I have had it
yeah,
all. I've had the 9 to 5 with the good benefits and pay. I was the
yeah,
boss. I was the employee. I had my own team. I had
mhm,
it all. And I
yeah,
was so miserable.
mhm,
I
yeah,
had the husband and the kids and the degrees and accolades, and I was losing myself. So I couldn't, like, where is she? While
right,
still battling with this murder case over my head.
yeah,
So
yeah,
after leaving that tumultuous job and finding my way, I said, "You know what,
mhm,
God, I'm gonna stop fighting you. And I'm really going to tap into the things that I'm left." Because honey, it was just me and me. It was just me and
mhm,
me. That's all that was left.
yeah,
And that's why
yeah.
I said, "I surrender." What we gonna do, sir? I'm
Yes. Oh
tired,
my
child. I'm tired.
yeah.
I'm tired.
Yes. That okay. So we're gonna get into the book. I'm gonna bring back up the movie Straw. I don't know if you saw it yet. Did you see Straw?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about your book first. So sis, you need some rest, but I feel like that ties into this, so we'll touch on that after. So
Wonderful.
tell the people about your book, Sis, You Need Some Rest. What is this
So
book about?
oh, sorry. Since You Need Some Rest starts with my open tragediness. It begins with me naming everything that I've become at the tender age of 33. You know, I became a mother, a wife, the heart of the household, because, you know, the household can't beat without the heart. The body cannot survive without the heart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it begins with just saying, I'm all these things, and I list all my accolades and everything I've done. Oh, and by the way, I'm a matriarch and have been a matriarch since I was 26, while raising a family, while grieving, while working, while going to school. And then the introduction also speaks on a little bit about my sister, but about my maternal figures. Because those women, and I call them my concrete maternal figures, they actually sculpted the woman I am today. And I
Mhm.
speak about and highlight who they were, how they did, and then speak about the grief of it too. You know, losing three people who are core in your life at
Yeah.
a tender time where I'm in undergrad, I'm about to graduate the next year. They didn't even see me walk, you
Yeah.
know? And so I kept going though. I kept going. It was like the
Mhm.
go, go, go mode is what I call it. And then I
Yeah.
start breaking down the little bits of what it is to be a wife, a mother, a person, a human, in all the nuances of what it means to be a strong Black woman, you know? So I was just like, let me break this down. But what
Mhm.
I love most is the internal healing that I was able to have. You know, I was able to step on things that I didn't face before and then hyper
Mhm.
focus on, Patricia, where are we going with this? You know, editing things going backwards, but I really wanted to get y'all attention and I wanted women
Yeah.
to like let it flow. Like I should
Yeah.
get
Yes, and it's needed. I feel like, social media can be a double-edged sword, but I feel like I love seeing specifically, yes, Black women,
Mhm.
okay, in their soft girl era. Okay, and I'm
Yes,
not saying her book is not only for Black people. I'm just saying, I'm talking as a Black woman.
yes,
What I know is that we do a lot. Okay, we have different hurdles that
yes,
other groups don't have. Okay. And then having to deal with that outside of the home and then inside of the home, we still have stuff we're dealing with. Okay. So
ma'am.
I think a lot of people need your book because unfortunately some of them never had a matriarch. Some of them, the
Yeah,
ones that they had, weren't the good, examples that they want to, they're breaking generational curses, right? So I think having a book like yours is providing some form of a path, of a guide, like,
mhm.
okay, what do I need to do? Because it's hard. A lot of women feel like they have to wear that cape. They
Yes,
feel like if I don't do this, it's gonna go crumbles. Like I
yes,
have to do this, and it's like that's not necessarily true. Okay.
yes.
Especially I feel like if your kids are like teenager age, like you should be able to get some rest. Like,
You
you know
said
what I'm
be
saying?
able.
Yeah, you should, and so yeah, I think that's amazing.
Mhm.
When it comes to your process when you wrote the book, now I know you say you were done in 6 weeks. Okay. Couple of things. Did you use like a paper and pen? Did you use your computer, your phone? How did you go about like writing the book?
I started old school because I am a pen and paper girl. My hashtag for my business is in pen and paper we trust. So it
Okay.
did start that way. I went to
Yeah.
Dollar Tree. I got a lavender notebook, and I did start that way. But then after
Okay.
I got the contents, the
Mhm.
acknowledgements, the chat. I
Yeah.
said, "Oh no, no, no! This is bigger now. You need to start
Yeah.
typing it up, sis, because it was
Yeah.
so many thoughts that were flowing." And I mean, the first chapter, introduction was written. It was done.
Hmm.
But once I
Hmm.
started getting into chapter one, I said, no, child, you need to type. Got to be a lot.
Yeah.
And then from there, everything was just flowing. And the chapters were written out of order. It was
Okay.
how I felt. It was what was going on. It was just like, okay, that chapter is done. Edit, read. So it was done out of order, but the contents were in order, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I made a post on Instagram a while back, and it
Mhm.
said, write the first draft. The first draft is for you to get it out. And then the second draft is to organize and go back and stuff is for uh your reader. So
Mhm.
I feel like whatever it takes to get it out, at first, and then
Yes,
you can go back. And then also, do you use the voice typing tool?
I don't. I didn't.
You don't? I think you would love that. I use it. So I'm a teacher. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, I work with, I have some students that are English language learners. So one of the things that helps them is the voice typing, like on a Google Doc or whatever, you can go to tools and then scroll down to voice typing. You can just talk and it'll type it for you. I use that. Yeah. I use that for all, because I'm in grad school, for all my papers, because it's for me, I could just talk it out.
Yeah.
It's so much quicker. Yeah, but that helps me a lot. Okay, because I know some people, they are either paper and pen
Mhm,
or they use their phones. A lot of people that have come on here say that they use their phones because they're at
mhm,
work, then they get an idea and then they do it that way.
mhm.
So yeah. So when you sat down to write, are you the type of writer where you sit down and it just comes to you and you're done when you're done, or do you have a set time limit, like I'm gonna write for an hour today?
Oh no, child. When I say early
Yeah,
mornings, late nights, early mornings, late
yeah,
nights. Like
yeah.
it just was like one of the I have been woken up in the middle of the night before.
All right.
None of this is healthy.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
yeah,
I wake up in the middle of the night and my husband's like, "You
yeah,
good? You okay?" And I said, here it comes. It's almost
yeah,
like it's like vomit. You got to get it out,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
once it feels like your stomach has settled, your thought, your mind's is settled, you go back to
Mhm.
sleep. Um,
Right.
but at the time, because I was and not even really recognizing it,
Mhm.
healing with intent, that I like things just start flowing and going and talking to,
Right.
like my sister friends and what they're going through in their motherhood. And I was like, oh my gosh. So
Right.
it was a lot of, while still running a business and a household and everything else outside the world, but
Mhm.
it was one of those things that kept me up, got me up. Um,
Yeah.
Definitely paid attention to how I felt at that time and also
Mhm.
ushered in the creative juices.
Right.
That's how they
Right.
flow.
Okay. Yeah. I get that. I get that. This is your first book. Okay. Now, I don't know if you are, but if you are going to write a second book, do you have anything like a mistake that you made? Maybe you learned, and you're like, oh my God, I got to remember to never do this again. Like I learned, I'm not doing that no more. Do you have something like that happened to you?
So this is a two-parter. So I'm gonna answer
Okay.
the uh-ohs first.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, honey. Oh Lord. When I had published it, and it was on
Mhm.
KDP Publishing, which is old school method of
Right.
publishing
Right.
books.
Right.
Um, on KDP, everything looked great. It was
Right.
phenomenal. It landed where it needed to land, approve, publish.
Right.
Honey, when I got my proof, oh no, 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 no. There were things that Grammarly didn't catch, didn't
Uh,
catch. Little small nifty things. And I'm not gonna hold you. I am a perfectionist when it comes to my work
yeah.
because this is
Yeah.
my brand and my work. And it was a debut book.
Yeah.
And my auntie's name was spelled wrong one time. I
Oh.
saw a lot of different nifty things. The font was too small, my first couple books. And I was just, at first, I was embarrassed. At first, I was. And then I said, you know what, Patricia, people aren't doing this anymore. People aren't writing books like they used to. People, I had my first few of supporters. And then
Yeah.
after that, I like tunnel vision to perfect those edits because I feel like if this is going to be marketable on a larger scale, we
Hmm.
can't be having these little issues right now.
Yeah.
So I went back to the drawing board, accepted my flaws, and now it is selling and projected the way I would see it fit. But this is what happens when you don't have a guide. And this is what happens when, my husband would be like, I think you went too fast, and I'll say, well, teach his own child. But I wanted it to come out on Mother's Day.
Right.
That was
Right.
really big
That's
for me.
beautiful.
So
Yeah.
I was just like, I learned, but I
I get
learned
it.
so much. But I learned.
Yeah.
And then your second part of your question, it's not a necessary second book, but I found it suitable and honorable to say this on
Mhm.
your platform. But Sis
Okay.
You Need Some Rest has a sis. So this is Sis, You Need Some Rest, Reflections, Rest, and Healing for the Hearts of the Household, and it's a journal.
Okay. I love
And the
that.
journal mirrors the book.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that because now they can take action steps
Yes,
from the book. I love
yes.
that.
And I
I
was
love
like, you
that.
know what? Because I had a friend of mine. She said, well, why didn't you create the book into a journal? I said, from a writer's perspective, I don't want to
Mhm.
go back into 2008, 2012
Mm,
and read how I felt in a dark time. I want to
yeah,
be able to write it out and leave it and release it. As a writer, when I write, I release. I don't want to
hmm,
go backwards.
right,
So
right.
that part of the journal was exclusive to this. And I said, you know what? Let's have sis have a sis. So
Yeah,
it looks very similar and identical with
yeah.
each other. They
Mhm.
definitely are sisters,
Right.
but, and this is a proof, as you would know as a writer, but it's just the reflection and rest and the healing of it. So now you get to sit
Okay.
with yourself on a weekly basis. You
Mm.
get to read a chapter, you get to read a part of this, and they mirror each other.
Right. We love that. That's amazing. I'm sure therapists and people like that, they would love this. So to have in their office and stuff like that for people to buy and stuff, that would be great.
Now
I
that's a
love
thought.
that. Yeah, 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 for sure. Because a lot of times, especially, in the Black community, we have to feel comfortable.
Yes.
Okay, so seeing that sis, oh sis, hold on, sis, like let me see what all right, I'm comfort, I'm at ease now. Okay, I feel like that would be great for sure. So if you had advice to give to
Mhm.
someone who, I would say you could pick anything. What advice just would you give to someone as a writer who wants to maybe write a book, or if they're struggling, like, because you shared a lot of vulnerable things in your book. So
Mhm.
maybe someone who's struggling, like, I don't know if I want to share this with the world, but it could help so many people.
Yes. I would say start within. I
Mhm.
look at my life as a mirror of what I wish I had in my life. I had so many vital and core pieces of people taken from me. And I wanted to be, I become a matriarch by default. But I would
Mhm.
really advise those women or individuals who are really seeking to get their word out, their story out, nonfiction, fiction. However, it's to start at the drawing board. What is your angle? What is your angle here? Sis, You Need Some Rest did not start off with Patricia in mind. It didn't. It started off
Mhm.
for other women. But it ended up being, as mentioned, so healing for me. I'm just like, your story is what women aren't ready to talk about. One thing I will say, my conclusion is like the getter. I felt like I was safe throughout the book, but at the end of the book, I said, you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Mhm.
about the woman who doesn't believe in herself. Let's talk about the woman who aspires and doesn't have the village, the grounding of it. Let's talk about the motherless woman. Let's talk about the dreamers. That was the core of it. But I want to tell, like, sis, you could do whatever you set your heart and mind to. And it starts with God and it starts from within. I would
Yes.
have never, this book would have never seen the light of day if I did not believe in myself first. And then,
Right.
of course, pray throughout the process because
Mhm.
and it's not easy.
Oh no,
It's not
absolutely
easy.
not.
No.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, we love that. That's really good advice. I think so many people, because of social media and stuff, we're seeing other people doing, just like you say, you saw your friend do it, and you're like, if she could do it, we need that advice. We need that encouragement because it could really change someone's life. You
Yeah.
just never know. So I love that. Well, I feel like it's time for trivia.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a quick little trivia of would you rather author style. Okay. So we're gonna have you pick a number from 1 through 4.
Three is my number. Let's go with three.
Okay, y'all know three is what everybody chooses. Did I change it or did I leave it? Okay. I feel like I already know your answer to this, but would you rather only write at 3 a.m. or only with a typewriter?
outside, you already know, but 3 a.m.,
Yeah.
it is quiet in my house.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
hear myself breathe. I can hear the birds chirping. 3 a.m. for me.
Yeah, 3 a.m. Yeah, a lot of people pick that. I think I had like maybe two people say like, "Oh, I'll do the typewriter." So, but yeah, okay. So, what is next? I know you have the journal out, but do you have something planned for after the journal?
Oh, she does.
Okay.
Oh, she
And
does.
we didn't talk about your business too. So, because I know that relates to this platform. So, go ahead and tell us about all of that.
Okay, so we'll start with the business, then we'll start with what's
Okay.
next. So,
Okay.
here's my logo.
Oh, that's so pretty. Okay. I love that. Oh my
There you
gosh.
go. Franklin
Yeah.
Freelance Writing Consulting, as mentioned, it began in 2020 as I was a stay-at-home mom with my son and a graduate student. And I felt that a lot of, and I'm biracial, by the way, I'm Afro-Latina, but I feel like a
Okay.
lot of, like minorities are afraid to be able to ask for
Mhm.
help. I cannot say it's
Yeah.
for all the community, but I can say it's a lot of it. It's a lot of pride involved. And
Yeah.
when I was in undergrad on campus, I didn't ask for help and I needed the help, And so
Right.
I felt it in my heart to be able to help. First, it started with students. That was my niche. And now it has
Mhm.
branched out into, business now. I've done
Yeah.
and grant editing before. I've been able to work with other people in their business proposals and stuff of that nature.
Mhm.
But the beauty of it now, now that I am business minded entrepreneurial and have learned
Mhm.
so much, I'm able to
Yeah.
be the mother I want to be and the entrepreneur I want to be. And as a career driven woman, as yourself, we get lost in the sauce, with the career and then the kids and then the husband and then
Yeah.
da. And so Franklin Freelance is God. I say I'm a God led entrepreneur. My
Mhm.
platform may not be for everybody. I like to be quirky and funny, but I also like to get the gist of, hey, let's pray. Let's talk about certain things. Not political
Right.
platform at all. Keep your opinion to
Mhm.
yourself, but let's have fun with this. And so I
Yeah.
have morning messages. They're positive, they're fun, they're raw, they're uncut, no subliminals here, but I
Mhm.
want people to know, even if you never utilize my services, which is quite affordable, I also want
Mhm.
you to know, like, I've been through that. I'm going through that. I see you. And,
Right.
whether it be just following me for the morning messages or the writing services, I just want it to be a one-stop shop. That's all I
Right.
want it to be. And that's
Yeah.
what, by the grace of God, I've been able to be for a lot of people.
Right. And so many people that come on this platform, they talk about they need help. It's hard to find this. What can you list out just a few of the services that your business covers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we have the business professional side, which is like the resumes, the cover letters, grant editing. I'm tapping into grant writing. It's a lot more extensive. And
Mm-hmm.
we have the essays. I'm also helping people with college admissions, personal statements. And it's not the necessarily doing it for them. It's just a matter of having, like a watchful eye,
Yeah.
grammar, proofreading, editing. Does it match what's being asked and required? A lot of people have writing anxiety. A lot of people are embarrassed by that. And
Mm-hmm.
grown-ups, grown people. And
Yeah.
the goal of mine is to mentor, guide them, and help them. I wanted the handheld approach without making people feel, slow. No,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the greatest writer.
Yeah.
I had my very first college paper from junior college.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's me. I've even
Yeah.
gotten vulnerable and showed my work before. Like, no,
Yeah.
honey, I've been writing for a long time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
academically.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, well, we love that. I'm sure you're definitely going to get some people to reach out. We'll have all of your links and stuff in the yeah, for sure, in the description. Also, so you have your business stuff. Are you going to be working on like another book or
She
not
is.
yet? Okay.
She is. I
Okay.
won't name the title because titles always
Okay.
change.
Okay.
But I will say this. I'm going into a different genre, and it's
Okay.
going to be a children's book.
Oh, we love that. Oh,
Yes.
that made me some
I
hug. Yeah.
yes, honey. I just
Yeah.
felt so compelled to not have such mercy and grace to be where I'm at in my life, especially after going through so much tumultuous and trauma things for the past
Mhm.
10 years.
Yeah.
But I wanted to involve my children. And that's why I said, let me edge that way. Let me pivot. And what I'm
Yeah.
learning as an author is that it's your name, then it's your titles of your book. I didn't know that. I thought it was the
Mhm.
reverse. When we think
Mhm.
of Tyler Perry, we think of Medea and all these other titles to him. We don't think about Medea Tyler Perry. It goes opposite.
Yeah.
So I'm learning once your name is out, respectfully regarded, then
Yeah.
what is she gonna do? What is she gonna do?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
changing genres.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my God, I love that. I think I follow the same thing. My first book was a natural hair book I put out back in like 2012. Then I did like a coloring book and a whole brand for little brown girls.
Yes.
And it's so fun. Oh my God. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Most of my sales came from the children's genre. It really did. Like, oh
Really?
my, yes, it really did. And I had, and
Okay.
this was back in 2012, and they didn't have a lot of, little girls of color for coloring books and stuff like that. So it really took off. It's called Brilliant Beautiful Me. People always ask me like, oh, where are the books that you do? And I'm like, this is a separate thing, but I get it. But
You're
no,
the expert.
I mean, I learned from you guys. It's a mutual thing. But you're gonna do great in the children's genre, and it's so fun. It's light, you know what I'm saying? So you'll have a lot of fun.
I
The
appreciate
kids will
that.
love it. Yeah, the kids will love it. And I feel like it opens a lot of doors with the children. I've had it turned into brands with clothes, with people in the Netherlands, different. Yeah,
Okay.
it opened a lot of doors doing that. And it's so fun. So you'll have fun with that for sure.
Well, I'm
Definitely
even
come
more
back.
excited.
Yeah, you should be excited. Definitely come back when you have that. We definitely want to interview you
Oh,
about that. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm coming
yeah,
back with this energy and
yeah,
this sweetness and these flowers being thrown. I'm coming
yes.
back.
Yes, we love that. Well, okay, so tell the people where they can pick up your books. Well, is the journal out yet or not yet?
The journal has been published. Um,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. The journal was published last week. I will not hold you. Amazon, KDP Publishing had me at the edge of my seat because it was in the reviewing process for the
Yeah,
exact 72 hours. The exact. Sis, you need some rest was
yeah.
not. It took 48. I was a little
Okay.
concerned, but my husband was like, stop. Stop. But the Sis You Need Some Rest itself, it is on Amazon, it is on Barnes and Noble's only online, and it is also on ebooks for Amazon as well. And then
Okay.
the journal is just on Amazon for now.
Okay, we love that. We will have all of the links in the description, guys. Guys, you need this book, okay? Christmas is coming up. This is good gifts. This is a gift that's going to keep giving, okay? A person's well-being and mindset, that's a beautiful gift to give to somebody, guys. And it's a lot going on in the world right now. So
Yes.
this would be really amazing. Okay, well, Miss Franklin, we definitely thank you for taking time out to stop by and tell us about your amazing works. Sis, You Need Some Rest. The book and the journal is out, guys, on Amazon now. So definitely make sure you guys support. Like I said, you're welcome back anytime. We thank
Thank you.
you. Yeah, absolutely. And guys, we thank you for tuning in to this episode of Author Interviews, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.